Why you can't focus anymore? Dopamine overload. Do you ever open your phone just for 5 minutes, and suddenly it's 1 hour later? You scroll, but your brain feels tired, not happy. You can't focus on work, can't read, can't even rest. What's happening to us? Stay with me until the end, because today you will practice listening. Learn new vocabulary, and reflect on how small steps every day can make a big difference. In this video, you will practice English listening with a story, learn key vocabulary, and try some speaking practice. This is level A to 2B1, so it's perfect if you already understand basic English but want to grow faster. And because I want you to improve even faster, I have prepared a free practice exercise for you. Check the description box below, click the link, and complete the activity after this video. It will help you review vocabulary and speaking. Today's goal is to understand why it's hard to focus in the modern world, and how to take your attention back. You'll learn simple words, emotional stories, and powerful speaking practice. Ready? Let's start. Every time you open social media, your brain releases a small amount of dopamine, the chemical that makes you feel pleasure and excitement. At first, it feels good, but when your brain gets too much stimulation, too often, it begins to change how you think and feel. This is called overstimulation. When your brain is overstimulated, it starts craving constant novelty, something new, something fast, something exciting. Because of that, normal activities like reading, studying, or even talking to someone can start to feel boring. The brain no longer finds satisfaction in slow progress. In neuroscience, this happens because the brain's reward system becomes desensitized. It's like turning up the volume too high. After a while, you can't hear the quiet sounds anymore. That's why you lose focus, motivation, and patience. But the good news is, your brain can heal. Neural pathways are flexible. Just as overstimulation trained your brain to chase quick rewards, and focus can train it back toward balance. Let's begin with emotional healing. You don't have to fix your whole life at once. Start by accepting that feeling tired or unmotivated doesn't mean you're lazy. It simply means your brain has been running without rest. Forgive yourself for being overwhelmed. Then do one small act of order. Clean your desk, write one paragraph, or take one mindful breath. Each small action sends your brain a signal: I am back in control. Next, let's talk about positive focus. Instead of trying to do more, focus on being present. Productivity isn't about how much you finish, it's about how deeply you engage. Read one page with full attention. Take one short walk without your phone. Enjoy one meal without distractions. These small wins rewire your dopamine system to find joy in reality, not in constant scrolling. Now, inner peace. People think peace means silence or the absence of problems. But true peace means stability inside you, even when life is noisy. You can train this by doing short, simple practices. Put your phone away for 10 minutes. Close your eyes. Breathe slowly. Feel your heartbeat. That rhythm reminds your body that you are safe. That is what calm actually feels like, not excitement, but grounded presence. If you want to rebuild focus and motivation, start a 7-day practice. Day 1. No social media for the first 30 minutes after waking up. Day 2. Focus on one meaningful task for 25 minutes. Day 3. Take 3 breaks without your phone, 10 minutes each. Day 4. Clean or organize one small area. Day 5. Turn off all unnecessary notifications. Day 6. Spend 30 minutes doing something creative or physical. Day 7. Reflect on what changed: your energy, your patience, your clarity. The human brain is not built for endless stimulation. It is built for rhythm, effort and rest, noise and silence, input and reflection. When you bring back that rhythm, focus will return naturally. You are not broken. You are simply Your mind just needs space to breathe again. So today, take one deep breath. Step away from the noise. And let your brain remember what peace feels like. Lena's distraction. Loop. Lena was a college student who truly loved learning. She used to spend hours reading books, writing notes, and dreaming about her future. But lately, something had changed. Every time she sat at her desk, opened her notebook, or tried to read a single page, her hand moved almost automatically toward her phone. The screen lit up. Notifications, messages, funny videos. Just 5 minutes, she told herself. Then I'll start studying. But 5 minutes became 10, 10 became 30. And before she knew it, 1 full hour had passed. Her books were still closed. Her notes were still blank, and her motivation was gone. When Lena finally looked at the time, her heart sank. She felt heavy, not just tired, but disappointed in herself. Her brain was full of noise, but empty of focus. It was as if her mind was no longer her own. That night, as she lay in bed, the room was dark and quiet. Her phone was still beside her, glowing softly with new notifications. She stared at the light and whispered, "Why can't I stop? Why can't I focus anymore?" Tears filled her eyes. She wasn't crying because she failed a test. She was crying because she felt controlled by something small, something she once thought harmless, her screen. Lena remembered how she used to love silence, the smell of paper, the sound of her pen writing, the deep calm of learning. She missed that feeling. So the next morning, Lena made a small but brave decision. She put her phone in another room. Just 1 hour. That was her promise to herself. At first, it felt strange. She could almost hear her phone calling her name from the other room. She felt nervous, restless, even bored. But after 10 minutes, something shifted. Her mind started to slow down. The noise became quiet. She opened her book, and the words began to make sense again. When the hour ended, she smiled, a small, honest smile. For the first time in a long time, she had finished 1 full page, understood a new concept, and felt free. It wasn't a huge victory, but it was hers. And that night, as she turned off her light, she whispered, "I took back 1 hour of my life today." That 1 hour became a habit, and that habit became her peace. Vocabulary: distracted means not able to focus. Example: I get distracted when my phone is near. Overwhelmed means feeling too much. Example: she felt overwhelmed by messages. Victory means success after effort. Example: finishing my homework was a small victory. Speaking practice. Role play with a friend. Role A: you are Lena's friend. Encourage her. Role B: you are Lena, explaining your struggle. Example A says, "Lena, you're not lazy. You just need rest." B says, "Thanks. I'll try again tomorrow." A says, "And I'll check on you. You're doing great." Repeat and use words like focus, small victory, and I believe in you. Artie's realization. Artie worked in a busy office. Every day was the same rhythm. Meetings, emails, messages, calls, non-stop. His phone buzzed. His computer pinged. Even his smartwatch joined in, flashing with new notifications every few minutes. At first, Artie thought this was normal. Everyone around him seemed to live the same way, fast, noisy, connected all the time. But slowly, he noticed something strange. He couldn't sit still for even 10 minutes without touching his phone. Whenever the room got quiet, his hands started to move. Unlock the screen, scroll, swipe, refresh. He wasn't even looking for anything. It was just a reflex. His mind was restless. At night, Artie found it hard to sleep. His brain felt full of information, but empty of peace. He missed the feeling of calm, the kind of silence that used to help him think. One Saturday morning, Artie woke up exhausted, not from work, but from being online all the time. So he decided to do something crazy. He left his phone at home. No messages. No music. No maps. Just himself. He walked to a small cafe near the park, a place he used to love but hadn't visited in years. The moment he sat down, he felt strange. The world felt too quiet. No vibration, no screen light, no background noise. It was like silence after a long, loud storm. At first, Artie didn't know what to do. He looked around awkwardly, watching people talk, laugh, and read real books. His hands kept searching for something to hold, but his phone wasn't there. Then something amazing happened. His thoughts began to slow down. The noise inside his head became soft, almost peaceful. He noticed the smell of fresh coffee, the sound of a spoon stirring, the sunlight on the wooden table. He opened his notebook, the one he hadn't touched in months, and started to write. At first, it was just random words. Then ideas. Then dreams. He wrote about things he wanted to do, places he wanted to visit, and people he wanted to spend time with in real life, not through a screen. When Artie finally walked home that afternoon, the city looked different. The trees looked greener. The air felt lighter. Time seemed to move slower, not because the world had changed, but because he had. That simple weekend became the beginning of something new. Every Sunday, Artie gave himself 1 hour of silence. No phone, no messages, no noise. And each time he did, he found a little more of himself again. He didn't just recharge his phone anymore. He recharged his mind, and that changed everything. Vocabulary to silence. Meaning, no sound. Example, I enjoy the silence in the morning. Storm, meaning, a strong disturbance. Example, my mind feels like a storm of thoughts. Clear, meaning, easy to understand. Example, my mind feels clear after journaling. Speaking practice to persuasive roleplay. Role A. Convince your friend to take a phone-free hour. Role B. You resist, but slowly agree. Example dialogue A says, "Come on, just 1 hour without your phone." B replies, "But what if someone texts me?" A says, "The world can wait. You deserve peace." B pauses, then says, "Okay, 1 hour." Listening story 3. Mayu's energy shift. Mayu was an artist, a quiet soul who used to paint every single day. Her little studio was her world. She loved the smell of fresh paint, the sound of brushes touching canvas, and the peaceful rhythm of creating something from her imagination. But then, something began to change. Her mornings no longer started with art. They started with her phone. Just 5 minutes, she told herself, scrolling through photos, videos, and perfect lives on social media. 5 minutes became 1 hour, and slowly her inspiration began to fade. Each time she looked at other artists online, she saw their perfect lines, their perfect colors, their perfect lives. Her mind whispered, "You're not good enough." So she stopped painting. Days turned into weeks. Her brushes gathered dust. The once bright studio became silent and cold. A room full of color, but no life. Mayu started to feel heavy, as if her own light had dimmed. She missed that feeling of joy when her hands moved freely, when colors spoke louder than words. But she didn't know how to begin again. One night, she couldn't sleep. She sat in her studio, surrounded by her unfinished canvases. The moonlight touched the corner of a blank canvas, and something inside her whispered, "Try again." She turned off her phone. The silence felt strange at first. No notifications, no music, no pressure. Just her and her thoughts. She lit a small candle. The soft, warm light filled the room like a hug. Slowly, she picked up her brush. Her hands moved gently, like remembering an old song she once loved. Stroke by stroke, she painted not what she saw online, but what she felt. The loneliness, the hope, the softness of returning to herself. She didn't rush. She didn't judge. She just felt. Hours passed like minutes. When the candle finally burned low, Mayu looked at the canvas and smiled. It wasn't perfect, but it was hers. The colors were honest. The lines were real, and for the first time in months, she felt alive again. That painting became her best work, not because it followed the rules, but because it came from the heart. From that day on, Mayu made a new rule. Before touching her phone, she must first touch her brush. Before seeing the world online, she must see her own world inside. And each time she painted in silence, she remembered one truth. Perfection isn't the goal. Presence is, because the most beautiful art, just like the most beautiful life, isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. Vocabulary 3-word, inspiration. Meaning, new creative idea. Example, nature gives me inspiration. Word, silence. Meaning calm and quiet. Example, I find peace in silence. Word, real. Meaning, true, not fake. Example, her art felt real and alive. Speaking practice 3, encouraging reflection. Prompt, describe one habit you want to change. Use these sentences. I want to stop. I'll start by, it's not easy, but I'm proud of myself for trying. Reflection. Your attention is your power. When you protect it, you protect your dreams. Healing is not about deleting apps. It's about remembering who you are without them. Small steps bring big peace. If this video helped you feel calm or inspired, leave a heart in the comments and share it with a friend who needs focus again. And don't forget, your free practice exercise is waiting below. Click the link, practice the vocabulary, and come back tomorrow for the morning reset. Another story to rebuild your peace and focus. Remember, you don't need a new life. You just need a new focus. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment below. What helps you feel calm and creative again? I'll be reading your answers. And your story might inspire someone else today. If this video made you feel peaceful or motivated, please like it. It really helps this channel grow and reach more learners like you. And don't forget to subscribe, so you never miss our next listening story about self-growth, mindset, and real-life English practice. Remember, your small daily actions are powerful. Every time you listen, learn, and reflect, you become stronger, calmer, and more you.